the last time you decided to change something real about your life? How long did it actually last? Maybe more. I guess it rarely makes it to a week. And here's the part that should bother you. Nothing went wrong. There's no disaster, no temptation you couldn't resist. No dramatic moment where you gave up. You just woke up one morning, and the thing that felt so certain on Sunday had quietly stopped being true by Wednesday. That's not a coincidence. That's a schedule. And once you see why it runs on a schedule, you'll stop blaming yourself for something that was never a willpower problem. So here's what I want to give you first. Why 72 hours is a ceiling? The actual mechanism, not a metaphor. Then the 3 places people lose the change without noticing. And finally, want to do differently on day 2, which is the only day that matters. The one nobody talks about. I'll get to that. Because if you fix it, the rest gets much easier. Let's start with why 3 days. When you make a decision, a real one, the kind that comes with a feeling in your chest, you're using the newest, most expensive part of your mental machinery. Deliberate attention. It's brilliant. And it's exhausting. And it has a very short battle. Underneath that sits everything else. Every routine you've run 10,000 times. Every automatic reaction. Every default. That system gets tired to run. And it's been never missing its lines for 20 or 30 years. For about 72 hours. The new intention is loud enough to override the old system. Not only does that, the decision is still interesting, still vivid, and you're still watching yourself do it. Not because you stop caring, because novelty always drops. That's what novelty is. And the moment there's a handover, the new behavior needs to move from something you're deciding to something you're just doing. And if nothing has been built to catch it, it falls. That's the 3-day ceiling. No weakness. A handover with nothing on the other side. Now, here's where it gets more interesting. Most people are not actually failing on day 3. They fail on day 2 and don't notice until day 3. Let me show you the 3 places it goes. The first is what I call the invisible skip. Day 2 arrives, and for something ordinary interrupts you. You're late, someone calls, you're tired in a way you were yesterday. So you tell yourself, you'll do it later. And later never has a specific time attached to it. Here's what actually happened in that moment. And it's much bigger than it looks. You didn't skip the behavior. You taught the system that the behavior is optional. That's the real damage, not the mistake, the new information. One skip made without friction wildly reclassifies the whole thing from this is who I am now to this is something I do when it's convenient. And convenience is not an identity. The second place is what I call negotiating with yourself. This one is sneaky because it feels like maturity. You start adjusting. Maybe not every day. Maybe a lighter version. Maybe I'll start properly next month when things calm down. Sounds reasonable. But notice who's doing the negotiating? It isn't the part of you that made the decision. That part isn't at the table anymore. It left when the novelty wore. The part negotiating is the old system. And it is not neutral. It has a preference. It's been running your life comfortably for decades. It would like to continue. When you negotiate on day 2, you are letting the income write the terms. And the third place, this is the one that gets the most people, is the reward gap. You did the thing for 3 days, and nothing happened. Obviously, nothing happened. 3 days is nothing. But some part of you quietly expected a thing, a visible difference, some evidence. Have it registered somewhere. It didn't come. And in that silence, the old system makes its argument. The argument very persuasive. See, this doesn't work. This isn't worth it. You've done this before. The argument is not true. But it's well timed. And it arrives exactly when your motivation is at its lowest point. So let's talk about what actually holds. I said there's a mistake almost everyone makes on day 1. Here it is. On day 1, you make the change too big. Not because you're arrogant, because day 1 is the day you have the most energy. And you calculate the commitment to how you feel on the day you feel best, which is the one day the entire process is completely unrepresented. You design the plan for the strongest version of you, then hand it the retired version to execute. Of course, it collapses. It was never built for the person who has to do it. So the first move is to size the change for your worst day, not your best. If you can't imagine doing it on the day you're exhausted, underslept, you're slightly annoyed at someone, it's too big. People resist it. It's a small change. Feels like it won't matter, but you're not trying to get a result. You're trying to survive the handover. That's the only job. Second, and this is the actual technique. You need to decide in advance what day 2 looks like. And not day 1. Day 1 takes care of itself. You got momentum. Day 2 is where it dies. So, before you start, answer this specific. When it's day 2, I don't feel like it. What exactly am I doing? And at what time? And where? Write it down as a sentence. When it's 7 in the morning, I don't want to. I do the small version at the kitchen table anyway. That sentence does something general intention cannot. It removes the decision. And removing the decision matters enormously because on day 2, your capacity to decide is precisely the thing that is run out. Third, and this is the one It changes the ceiling itself. You have to mark it at the end of each first 7 days. Take 2 seconds and register that you did it. Not a celebration, just an acknowledgement. Some people take a month. Some say it out loud. Some write one line. It sounds trivial. It isn't. Remember the reward gap? The silence. The evidence should be. Marking it manually. Fills the silence with a signal you generated yourself, rather than waiting for the world to supply it. You're feeding the system truth on a schedule instead of hoping to corrupt. Do those 3 things, and the handover has something on the other side to land on. Now, here's what I want you to actually watch for. Around day 9 or 10, something quiet happens. You'll do the thing, and afterwards realize you weren't deciding to do it. You just did it. The way you look on your seatbelt. That's the handover completed. It's completely remarkable when it happens. No fanfare, no breakthrough feeling. Most people miss it entirely. And that's where you know. Because a lot of people quit at day 8, convinced nothing has changed. When they were 48 hours from the only milestone that mattered. One last thing, and I mean this genuinely. If you watched yourself abandon the same change 5 or 6 times, you probably feel a story about that you're inconsistent. That you're the kind of person who starts things and doesn't finish. I heard that story loosely. What you actually have is a pattern with the cause. A handle that keeps failing at the same predictable point because nothing is ever built to catch it. That's a design problem, not a character. And design problems can be solved. If you're working on becoming a steadier version of yourself, the slow, unglamorous version actually cold. That's what this channel is for. So subscribe and walk it with us. And I'd like to know, what's the change you've started more times than you can count? Name it in the comments. I have a feeling a lot of us are on the same one.